World leaders have welcomed a surprise agreement between the United States and China to boost climate cooperation. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has called it an important step in the right direction. However, there are also calls for concrete action to support the promises made. The world's two largest carbon emitters have unveiled a joint strategy to speed up climate action over the next decade. Among the commitments, cutting methane emissions, decarbonisation and fighting deforestation. Both sides will also revive a working group and meet regularly to address the climate crisis, with a focus on enhancing concrete actions. Washington and Beijing have pledged to work together to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. For more on this, Simon Marks joins us from Washington, D.C. Simon, climate change continues to be the one area both sides seem to be able to agree on.
Yeah, and that is something that John Kerry, President Biden's climate change czar, has absolutely been promoting within the Biden administration, despite the opposition of some of his colleagues at the State Department and the National Security Council. He has advocated from day one of the Biden administration that at least China and the United States can find a way of advancing cooperation on climate, and that is what this surprise announcement in Glasgow contains. It is thin on specifics. It contains very few data points. There's no indication of the time frame or indeed the precise targets that the two countries through this cooperation are largely aiming to achieve, whether it's in terms of driving down carbonisation, whether it's in terms of cutting those methane emissions or any of the other ideas contained in this document. But it does announce the creation of a working group between the United States and China that it says will meet regularly to discuss ways in which the two countries can work together on the climate change issue. And remember, this announcement came just a matter of days after President Joe Biden himself in Glasgow for the COP26 summit chided China and specifically President Xi for being absent from in-person attendance at the event, indicating that he believed that China was ceding leadership to the issue to the United States. Now, the president must have been aware when he made those comments, and indeed when China reacted to them, that this discussion about cooperation and making this announcement was taking place behind the scenes.
Yes, it is a sort of a tricky tightrope to walk. Many activists are saying as well that, the lack of detail, this is not a game changer.
Well, I think that's absolutely correct. I mean, the response from activists to this, as it was to the draft memorandum of agreement that was released at COP26, has been hostile and critical. And activists say, look, this document contains language that says that the two countries absolutely are going to try and drive the Paris climate change accords and those targets further forward and embrace limiting the rise in the Earth's temperature to that crucial figure of 1.5 degrees Celsius. But this is a weaker, more diluted document than one that the United States and China unveiled together during the Paris Accords process. So activists, as they're saying about the broader agreement at COP26, the draft of it that has been released, there's another one due to be released soon, they say it doesn't go far enough. But from the United States perspective, this is partly designed around the issue of climate change, but it's also partly designed to create some kind of positive between the two countries as we hurtle towards what looks like being the virtual summit meeting between Presidents Biden and President Xi, possibly as early as next week. So at least there is this one issue where the two sides will be able to point to progress, even though there are so many other issues in the bilateral relationship that remain deeply contentious.
They certainly are, and thanks for keeping us across them all. Simon Marks speaking to us from Washington, D.C.